Hey everyone, and welcome back to Suited Aces Poker, where every week we review thousands, okay, maybe not thousands, hundreds of hands from poker vloggers across YouTube to bring you 10 of the best. As always, there is a link in the description box below to each of the original videos. So if you want to check out the entire video, having enjoyed one of the top 10 hands, click on that link. It'll take you straight to the original content. Okay, so what have we got in store for you this week? Well, it won't have escaped the attention of anybody watching that the World Series of Poker 2022 is happening right now in Las Vegas. So we've got several hands from games at the WSOP. Aside from that, we've got dirty rivers, huge pots, and weird endings. Let's make a start. At number 10 this week, and playing in a $400 buy-in bounty tournament at the beautiful Sonesta Maho Beach Resort in St. Maarten in the Caribbean, is Wolfgang Poker. And this is a beautiful flop for Wolfgang in this hand, but can it get any better?
This hand's a great one. I look down at pocket fives at 207k in our stack at the 4k, 8k, 8k blind levels, and I have pocket fives on the button. When it folds around to me, I raise it up to 19k. The small blind now 3-bets me to 48,000. Interesting spot, but we're both pretty deep here, and I decided to put in the additional chips in position here, and if we flop a monster, we're going to get stacks in and be in a great spot to at least make a cash, if not win the entire tournament, and that's the goal. So I put in the call, and what does the flop come out? King 5-4, bang, we flop middle set. Dream spot for us. We're in position, and we don't even have any sweat here. The small blind just rips it in for 160k. Obviously, middle set is a snap call for me. I put my all-in chip, indicating that to the dealer, and immediately flip over my cards. No slow roll coming for me. The opponent turns over ace-king of spades, so he's in a rough spot here. It's a 430k chip pot, which would definitely put us in top 5 in chips for the tournament. Looking to fade some cards on the turn and river. He'd have to go runner, and he gets his first one. It comes the king of diamonds on the turn. So we're looking to avoid an ace or a king on the river, which we do. The 8 of spades is clean. Let's freaking go. 430k coming our way. Dream spot for us, a cooler for the opponent, but we're not complaining one bit.
Number 9 this week, and Doug McCusker is playing in a 1-3 game at the Capitol Casino in Sacramento, California. And there's a big laydown from Doug in this hand. But do we agree with Zeus's analysis?
There's an $8 straddle from the other gun player. The +1 puts in the call for the $8. I look down at 2 aces from middle position, make it 30. It gets folded back around to the player in the +1, who is a very competent player, and he puts in the call for the 30. So we're going to go heads up to this flop with $72 in the pot. Flop comes out pretty darn good. It comes 10-7 deuce with 2 hearts. So I'm looking to get action from a 10, a flush draw, maybe a medium-sized pocket pair that might have called pre. Bet $25. He puts in the quick call, and we're going to go see a turn card now. Turn card is a 8 of clubs. Not the greatest turn card in the world. It does complete a bunch of straights and 2 pairs, and he leads into me for $70. Now, what could he be doing this with? Just about anything. He could have picked up some equity with a straight draw. He could be protecting, say, a pair of 10s, and he thinks I have just overcards. He could be just setting up for a move on the river. It's really hard to determine, but I figure the best course would be just to call and see what happened on the end, which comes a 9 of clubs. One of the worst cards in the deck. It completes just about everything but a flush draw. Anyway, I expect my opponent to bet. I was just trying to figure out the sizing, and he decides on $225. Yeah, tough spot to be in. Is he capable of bluffing here? Yes. Is he bluffing here? Hard to say. Even if he was bluffing with something, he might have backdoored his way into a straight or 2 pair. Really tough spot, and I figure it was kind of early in the round, in the day, and I decided just to let it go.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. You don't want to be calling too light there. There's a lot of hands that can beat you. If he's bluffing, he's bluffing. I think it's a good fold.
Number 8 this week, and Johnnie Vibes makes a welcome return after a 4-month hiatus. He's in a 5-5 game at the Hustler Casino in California, and you all know my feelings on running it twice. But in this hand, Johnnie really does get unlucky.
I did have a really profitable spot to win a lot of chips a bit later on when I decided to isolate and 4-bet jam my queen 10 offsuit in a spot with a lot of dead money in the middle. Was able to get into a flip situation, basically a 50-50, which is well more than the 34% I needed to make it a profitable isolation.
I don't have a good hand. I have 2 Broadway cards. That's fine. How much you have?
33.90. No, 33. Yeah, 33.90. Yeah, 33.90.
Fold around to 7. Once or twice, gentlemen?
Twice
confirmed.
Okay, so the graphics were wrong on Sammy. They said 7,000. Now they've been corrected to 3,000. Johnny's move makes a lot more sense.
I got a queen and a 10.
Queen and a 10.
Queen 10. There was just so much dead money. So much dead money.
So much dead money. If he hits, it's going to be a big hand for him.
I mean, 1,000. He's all in. And then you fold. I'm like,
well, not going to win the first one. Holy crap.
why did he tell me?
He wasted a 10. He can chop it up. There it is.
No,
Not this time. No!
Woo! Hallelujah!
3,000 how much?
I don't know.
3.
Look at Johnnie taking that on the chin. The nicest guys in poker.
Thank you.
Queen 10.
It was a really heads-up play. He isolated all that dead money. He got it in as good as he could have hoped for.
At 7 this week, and Ashley Sleeth is playing in a $1,500 6-max World Series of Poker tournament right there at the Paris in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this is the perfect spot for Ashley to scoop in this hand. But wait.
I've really been amping up my aggression at this table. My image is completely shot, which is the perfect setup for this hand. Hijack is Angel. He opens up to 2K. Button is specifically a guy I've been battling with and showing down bluffs against. He calls. I 3-bet now with pocket aces in the small blind, so it's the perfect setup. The big blind wakes up and goes all in behind with 29,500 chips, music to my ears. Angel goes all in as well. He calls all in for 19K. Button is out of there. I'm obviously all in.
Oh, aces. Alright guys, I'll fix the pot after. Aces, ace, king, jacks. Wow. Gonna be some side pot. I have 7 of spades. 6, 7 of spades is gonna win. There's the 6.
Some hearts.
4. Take the 4.
Oh! Absolute disaster for the 3-way all-in with pocket aces. I mean, I guess it could be worse. I could have got sucked out on. Instead, we chop it 3 ways and I win a measly 1K chip.
Number 6 this week, and PokerBeast is playing in a 2-5 game at the Jamul Casino in Jamul, California. And there's a really weird ending to this hand. What would you do in this situation? Leave us a comment down below.
And an hour later, like I said, I looked down at ace-jack offsuit in the big blind. Finally a playable hand. Let's just hope it doesn't get too out of control before it gets to me. The hijack opens for 10. The cutoff makes the call. Although maybe I should just call because this is not suited. I am in the big blind and I want to isolate, maybe get this pot heads up. I decide to go for a 3-bet. I make it 60 and I get one caller, not the original better, but the cutoff who flat called. Now flat calls a 3-bet. Probably not the best situation to put yourself into. We're headed heads up to the flop. 132 in the pot, and it comes out ace high. You would think that with the size of the pot, such a strong hand, not blocking diamonds, I would bet, but no, I check to my opponent. I guess I'm trying to develop some sort of checking range with a strong hand on the flop, and my opponent takes advantage of it, bets 75 in the middle of the pot. A pretty large bet. It's only a half-size pot bet, but relative to his stack size, it's quite large. He's probably not going to be folding this one. I just wonder, what the heck does he have? Of course, I'm making the call. I can see him pre-flop flatting twice with like ace-3 suited, king-queen of diamonds. And the diamond on the turn makes me feel even more uneasy about my hand, uneasy about how I've played it, and the fact that I'm out of position against a guy who's probably going to jam on the street. I check the action over to him, and he immediately stacks his reds in and ships them all in. This is where it gets interesting. He takes his whites and takes them off the table. That is absolutely not allowed at any point, but definitely not when you're in the middle of a hand going all in.
How much is that?
I feel two emotions at the same time. One is frustration that a player would do this mid-hand. I know it's only a few dollars, but it's just like clearly against the rules. And the second feeling I thought to myself was, well, if he has a hand that he's so happy to get it all in with, why is he taking any money off the table? I put myself into a tough situation. I'm going to have a tough call. It's not for a lot of money, but I don't want to lose any money, so I do a little detective work.
Aren't there some whites behind?
I'm really curious about what you guys think about this situation. He pulls the 5 out, puts it on the table. I call the 155, not his 150 original bet, but the 155, including the whites. We go to the river. It comes out a relative blank. My opponent flips his hand up and reveals ace-jack also without a diamond. We're chopping this one up. But I probably would have folded on the turn unless I didn't see him take those chips away. And the table starts berating me, getting upset with me for making him put the chips back on the table like it wasn't a very nice thing to do. I didn't think it was a very nice thing to do to take the chips off the table in the middle of a hand against me. Sure, it's only $5, but it's the principle of the act. Let's listen into the table talk.
You think it was wrong of me to...
That's his personal need. I don't do it.
I mean, you can't take money off the table right in the middle of the hand, right? You can't take money off the table in the middle of the hand.
I just don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like $5, like nothing. I was gonna go tip the lady outside.
I was gonna fold, except I was like, well, if his hand was that good, he would have left the $5 on.
I totally understand their perspective. Sure, maybe it was going to be a tip, or why ruin a fun game? You know, why do we have to be so serious? But there has to be a line drawn, and I think a pretty clear line to draw is when you're going all in with someone in the middle of a pot, you just cannot go south with any portion of your stack. I don't care if it's $5. I don't care if it's $500. And of course, I don't hold a grudge or ill will against my opponent. I don't think he's a bad person. I don't even know who he is. And there is, of course, a difference between doing it with $5 or $500. I think the dealer probably should have called it out, or maybe I should have just let it go. What do you guys think? I really want to hear your perspective from the comments.
Number 5 this week, and watching Rob poker. Rob Rickermann is playing at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. He's in a 2-5 cash game, and whoops, we weren't expecting that, were we?
Very first hand, we're in the small blind with pocket 6s. Button straddle is on, so I'm first to act. I open for 30. Action folds around to the hijack, who 3-bets to 100. I imagine he's at the top of his range to be 3-betting an early position raiser. I make the call, looking to spike a set here. Heads up to a flop, queen, queen, ace. Not what we're looking for, but I check and he checks back. Turn brings the 3 of clubs. I debate firing to fold out jacks or kings, but seems a little ambitious right off the start here. He could also be setting a trap with a monster, so I check, and now he bets 75. I make the laydown and ask how big the hand is. He's nice enough to show for the vlog all of the queens in the deck. Quads for the first hand.
Number 4 this week, and Ashley Sleeth is back in action. She's back at the Paris in Las Vegas, playing in a $500 World Series of Poker tournament. And there are so many emotions on the river in this one.
The blinds are up and button opens to 1K. I peel my big blind with 7-5 of spades. I love these little suited connectors, especially when the dealer puts out ace, queen, 9, all spades. Flopping a 7-high flush, check it over to him on the button, and he continues for 1,000. Just gonna make the call. The turn comes a queen of clubs. So I check it over to him once more. He bets 2,200. Again, just kind of slow playing this. I make the call. And the river is one of the worst cards we could see. It's another spade, the 3 of spades. So if he bets, I'm not gonna feel great about it. And when I check it over to him, not only does he bet, but he puts on his big boy pants and throws out 10,000 chips into the middle. Slight overbet, shaking my head, nothing I can do. I fold.
Nice hand. Bad river for me.
Really?
Yeah.
How about this?
Aces?
I was really rooting for you to get the...
Woo! You hated that river. You hated that river
but
for
I
sure.
also kind of like, okay, please. Hope she have a king spade. Please give her king spade. It's too good of a hand.
Yeah.
Number 3 this week, and the next Gem Boys are playing at the Texas Card House in Dallas, Texas. Rosey is playing in this hand. It's in a 1-2 cash game. Their very first meet-up game, actually, over there in Texas. And could the river get any dirtier for Rosey in this one? How many times have you been on the receiving end of a hand like this?
We open at $15 and the button makes the call off to a flop, which comes ace, ace, 7, 2 clubs. You guys let me know, are you c-betting here? I think this should be a c-bet, heads up. I make the mistake of checking, but I think that can be okay too. You guys let me know. And he bets $30, a pretty big bet, basically the size of the pot. We're not gonna believe him just yet. I don't think an ace necessarily bets pot here. I think that would scare away a lot of hands he wants to get called by. So we make the call. The turn is the Jack of Hearts, adds a second flush draw on board. We check, he bets $55, a bigger bet nominally, but smaller as percentage of the pot, only a little over half pot this time. And I don't believe him. Maybe it's the meetup game dynamic in the air. There's lots of draws to be had. He sees me in my orange traffic cone shirt and just wants to get me. We're gonna call one more time, see what develops on the river. And I'm a big fan of what develops on the river. You guys might be too. It's the 8 of spades. So now we shift to kind of wanting him to have an ace. As funny as that sounds, I set the trap here, go for the check. He's double barreled, will he triple barrel? Yes, he will. He does fall for it. And not only does he bets $300. Double the size of the pot. We count to 10 in our head. We know what we're gonna do. We go for the check raise for what's essentially 575 effective. He makes a quick call, flashes an ace. We show our eights and take down a huge pot at 1-2.
At number 2 this week, and Erick Mondragon, Fish Poker, is playing in a 1-3 game at the Venetian in Las Vegas, Nevada. And okay, hands up, how many of us have done this in the past?
Now I'm on the small blind looking down at King 10 suited. It folds all the way to my new lesbian friend on the button who min raises it to $6. I'm gonna make the call. The big blind is also gonna make the call, and we're gonna go 3 ways to a flop of 10-6-4 rainbow. I flop top pair with the pretty damn good kicker, and since I'm first to act, I'm gonna go on and check it as I would with my entire range. The big blind checks it, and when it gets back to Bria on the button, she fires off a bet of $20. Even though $20 might not seem like a lot nowadays, in this hand, $20 is a massive amount, as there's only $18 in the pot without the rake. I'm not buying what she's trying to sell. I'm not gonna go anywhere with my top pair either, so I'm gonna make the call, and we are going heads up to a mother flopping king on the turn. Hell freaking yeah, we are sitting on 2 pair. Action is on me, and I'm gonna check it back again to Bria, who doesn't let her foot off the accelerator as she bets off another $50. I ponder whether it's a good idea to repop her here, or should I check the river and let her continue hang herself. I'm gonna go with option B. I make the call, and we go heads up to a brick on the river. I know I said that I would check it and let my opponent continue hanging herself, but that hasn't really been working for me lately. I really don't want to lose value here and check it and have my opponent check back. Bria has only about $120 behind, and I want it all. I'm all in, and she calls me faster than your mom on a Saturday night and turns over pocket aces. I proudly turn over my hand and announce 2 motherfucking pair. The only problem with my 2 pair is that my dumbass didn't have 2 pair. I misread my stupid hand. I had King 7 the entire time.
Hey, Mom.
Man, I misread my hand.
That's really embarrassing for you.
It is.
That's really sad. This is my first time in a poker vlog. I just want you to know.
No, you had to pull that in.
Shit. I'm so stupid. I should have just not said I had 2 pair. I should have just not said I had 2 pair. I could have just turned over my hand without saying anything. I mean, I would have still felt stupid knowing that I didn't have 2 pair, but the fact that I announced it and the whole damn table heard me say 2 pair, that makes me feel dumber than the time I asked the one-legged man if he worked at IHOP. Get it? IHOP. Anyways, I lose a freaking massive pot. I lose my profit. I lose my chips, along with losing my confidence for the rest of the night.
And at number 1 this week, playing in a huge $50, $100 cash game at the Hustler Casino in California, is Mariano. And talking of huge pots.
And we're going to start things off with a bang as Nick Vertucci opens to 300, gets 1 caller, and I look down at pocket kings in the small blind. Already a great situation right off the bat. I make it 1800, and then the big blind, YK, cold calls my raise. Nick calls also, and so does Henry behind him. So okay, not really what I was expecting, but hey, with pocket kings, I'm happy to get any amount of action. And even more so, when we flop middle set on ace king 9. I've got 3 of the same card, so I continue betting, and only Nick makes the call. The turn isn't great, as it brings in a possible flush, but my hand is just way too strong to check, and I've also got the king of diamonds as a backup plan. So I throw out $4,000 this time, and Nick calls once again. With nearly $20,000 already in the middle, we're off to see one last card.
Oh, the ace on the river. Nick now with trips. What a board, and what a spot for Mariano. Nick could have a flush. He could have an ace. Probably doesn't have 9s.
So the river is awesome. The ace of clubs. Not only is it great because it gives me a full house, but it's also likely to give my opponent trips. He might even have something like pocket 9s or a flush that was slow playing on the turn. Of course, I now beat all those hands as well. Now he's got around 1.5 times the size of the pot. And on this kind of board, I think the best play is to shove all in. If I had a bluff, this size also makes sense because we could have so many good hands, but it's nice that this time I actually do.
All in. The way the hand played out, and he shoves all in. $28,500.
Do you have me covered?
A brutal spot for Natucci.
In this spot this early. It's gotta be.
Nick loses to kings, ace king, 9s, a flush, ace 9 suited, ace 4 suited. A lot of hands that beat Nick here.
I don't know what to do.
He really only beats a flush.
With ace queen, what would you guys do?
Mariano's not going to take this line and over shove on the river with ace jack or worse.
I got a
So
diamond blocker. I don't know. Fuck, that fast it went already? God, I'm gonna get stacked the first fucking orbit.
And Nick doesn't like to fold in these spots. Usually when he gives the speech, he calls. There it is. He makes the call. $76,000 pot for Mariano.
How much is it? I'll just give Chip.
Wow. What a hand that one was, picking up almost a 6-figure pot. Quite extraordinary. A game that most of us can only dream about playing in. Congratulations to you, Mariano, and congratulations to everybody that made the top 10 this week. If you are heading out to Vegas, maybe you'll get the chance of bumping into one of your poker vlogger heroes. But even if you don't, we wish you all the very best at the tables. Thomas and I are going out there this weekend. We'll be out there from June 25th to 29th. So if we happen to jump into a game, play with a vlogger, we will be sure to let you know on the next episode of 10 of the Best. But until then, if you haven't already, like this video, give the subscribe button a hit, and good luck at the felt.